Did you know the global vape industry is worth over $20 billion and keeps growing every year? That's a lot of flavored clouds. But have you ever stopped to wonder how vapes are actually made? From mixing wild flavors like cotton candy and cola and high-tech machines assembling smooth devices, the process is more fascinating than you can ever imagine. Today we are going behind the scenes of a vape factory to see exactly how it's done. But first, what's the strangest vape flavor you have ever heard of? Drop it in the comments before I reveal some truly strange things I've never heard of before. Some people might indeed be new to vape and the idea of smoking anything other than traditional tobacco. The truth is, vaping has come a long way from where it started. Believe it or not, the first electronic cigarette was created in 2003 by a Chinese pharmacist named Han Lick. You know what they say about the best way to make an impact, and money is to look around to see what problem can be solved. That's what our guy did. He was looking for a safer alternative to smoking after losing his father to lung cancer. So he made an invention that included a small battery-powered device that turned liquid nicotine into vapor. But that was just the beginning. Fast forward to today, the vape industry has exploded into a multi-billion-dollar business with millions of users worldwide. At first, vaping devices were simple and designed to look like cigarettes. They had small batteries, weak vapor production, and only a couple of flavor options, which were mainly tobacco and menthol. But as the demand for vaping grew, companies began pushing the limits of what these devices could do. Today, we have high-tech vape pods with touchscreen controls, rechargeable pods, and advanced heating systems that deliver smoother and more flavorful hits. In case you don't know, one of the biggest reasons vaping has taken off is the almost unbelievable variety of flavors. Did you know there are over 10,000 vape flavors available? That's more than several coffee options at your favorite cafe. You can find classic flavors like strawberry, vanilla, and mint, but if you are feeling adventurous, you might stumble across options like bacon, pickle, or even bubblegum pizza. Yes, that's a real flavor. Some of these flavors are so bizarre that they have become viral challenges, with people daring their friends to try them. But it's not just about flavors. Vape technology has also changed a lot over the years. Early devices used basic cotton wicks and small tanks, which meant you had to refill them constantly. These days, modern vapes use advanced coil designs, temperature control settings, and even Bluetooth features that let you track your usage. That's not all. Some brands have even introduced disposable vapes that don't need refilling. All you have to do is just open, puff, and toss when empty. Of course, vaping hasn't come without controversy. Some people see it as a game changer for smokers trying to quit cigarettes, while others worry about its long-term effects. Governments around the world have responded with different regulations, from banning certain flavors to restricting sales to minors. Despite the debates, the industry continues to grow and innovations keep popping up every year. But how are these vapes made? Hit the subscribe button if you like breathing air. Now, we will move on to what it is like to be behind the scenes of a vape factory. Many people will never step into a vape factory to see the mixing, processing, and overall manufacturing, but you are about to see the real magic of how these devices are made. You will get an exclusive look at every step of the process, which is selecting ingredients and mixing flavors to assemble the devices and packaging them for sale. Step 1. The first step in vape manufacturing is ingredient selection. You see, before you enjoy your favorite vape, whether it's a sweet strawberry blend or a rich coffee flavor, it all starts in a lab. That's right, you heard correctly. Vape flavors are not just randomly thrown together. They are carefully designed by scientists who understand the chemistry of taste and aroma. What this means is that somebody who doesn't have a good knowledge of chemicals and how they interact with other elements and the human body cannot think of manufacturing vapes. In fact, creating vape flavors is very similar to how candy makers and even perfume designers craft their products. Every ingredient has to be food grade, safe for human consumption, and perfectly balanced to create the ideal vaping experience. The first step in making vape juice, which is also called e-liquid, is selecting the right ingredients. To make a healthy vape, there are 4 main components. They include propylene glycol, a clear, odorless liquid that helps carry flavor. It's the same component used in food flavorings, medicines, and cosmetics. The second component is vegetable glycerin, which gives vape juice its thick, smooth vapor. This particular ingredient is found in everything from ice cream to toothpaste. The third main component is called nicotine. nicotine, although this is optional in some cases. If you are familiar with vapes, you must have noticed that not all vape juices contain nicotine, but for those that do, the amount is carefully measured. Last but not the least is flavoring. This is where the real magic happens. Vape flavors are made using food-grade flavoring compounds, which is similar to what's used in candy and sodas. One of the most surprising things about vape flavors is that some are inspired by high-end perfumes. Can you beat that? Just like luxury fragrances use layers of scents like top notes, middle notes, and base notes, vape flavors are often blended the same way. A fruit-flavored vape might start with a bright citrus taste, followed by a hint of vanilla, and finish with a smooth, creamy undertone. The goal is to make vaping a full sensory experience, not just a simple puff of smoke. So how is the testing and perfecting of the flavors done? Once the basic ingredients are selected, vape scientists begin experimenting. They mix different combinations by testing how flavors interact and change when heated. Just because something tastes great in a candy or drink doesn't mean it will work well in a vape. The heat from the coil can alter flavors and make them stronger or weaker, or even change them completely. That's why flavor testing is such a crucial part of the process. Vape companies use trained flavor testers to sample different blends and make adjustments. While doing this, they check for sweetness, smoothness, and aftertaste to ensure that each vape juice provides a satisfying experience. Sometimes, a single flavor might undergo dozens of revisions before it's considered ready for production. While classic flavors like mint, vanilla, and fruit blends are always popular, some brands like to push the limits. These daring brands experiment with bacon-flavored vape juice. Can you imagine tasting bacon in your vape, especially when you have just had bacon at your favorite restaurant? But that's not all. How about dill pickles or cheese pizza? Believe it or not, these flavors exist. Some are made for fun, while others have a niche audience that enjoys them. One of the most strange examples comes from a company that created a vape juice called Thanksgiving Dinner. It was supposed to taste like roasted turkey, stuffing, and cranberry sauce. Whether or not it was a success is up for debate, but it certainly grabbed attention. Step 2. Since the flavors have been perfected, it's time to mix them with the base ingredients that create those thick, satisfying clouds of vapor. This step is all about precision and balance. Too much of one ingredient can make the vape harsh, while too little can make it feel weak. At this point, you should know that every vape juice starts with two main liquids, and they are vegetable glycerin and propylene glycol. Let's examine their makeup and how they are used. Vegetable glycerin is a thick, slightly sweet liquid that creates big, smooth clouds. It's also found in cough syrups, baked goods, and even skincare products. As for propylene glycol, known as PG, it is a thinner liquid that carries flavor and gives a stronger throat hit. That's not all. It is similar to smoking a cigarette. PG is used in food flavorings, medicines, and even asthma inhalers. The ratio of VG to PG changes how a vape feels. A high VG blend produces large, smooth clouds, making it popular among cloud chasers who enjoy big vapor production. On the other hand, a high PG blend delivers stronger flavor and a sharp throat hit that makes it more similar to traditional smoking. Most vape juices fall somewhere in the middle to balance both effects. Nicotine is the optional ingredient in vape juice. While some vapors prefer nicotine-free options, many e-liquids contain varying strengths to help smokers transition away from cigarettes. But here's the surprising fact: not all nicotine in vapes comes from tobacco. Scientists have found ways to extract nicotine from other plants in the nightshade family, and this includes eggplants, tomatoes, and potatoes. These alternative sources allow vape companies to create synthetic nicotine that doesn't rely on tobacco farming. This is especially useful in places with strict tobacco regulations. Once the VG, PG, and nicotine are measured out, they are blended together in huge stainless steel mixing vats. These industrial mixers stir the ingredients at controlled speeds to ensure a smooth, even consistency. During this process, scientists perform constant quality checks. They test the liquid's viscosity or thickness, nicotine levels, and overall stability. This is important because an unbalanced mix can result in uneven nicotine distribution that will subsequently lead to harsh or inconsistent vaping experiences. In some cases, some vape juices go through a process called steeping. Steeping is the process where vape juices are left to sit for a while to let the flavors fully develop. This process allows the ingredients to blend and create a richer, smoother taste. Certain flavors like tobacco tobacco or dessert blends often benefit the most from steeping. The longer they sit, the deeper and more complex their flavors become. Some premium vape brands even offer aged vape juices for a more refined taste. Before moving on to the next stage, each batch of vape liquid is tested again. At this stage, labs check for nicotine accuracy to make sure the listed nicotine strength matches the actual content. Another thing they test for is purity. This is to ensure there are no contaminants or unwanted chemicals. They also check for consistency to ascertain each bottle has the same smooth, balanced taste. Once everything passes inspection, the vape liquid is ready for the next step. Step 3. What is vaping without flavor? Once the base liquid and nicotine are perfectly mixed, it's time to bring in the show's real star, which is the flavor. This step is where science meets creativity by transforming a simple liquid into something that tastes like fresh strawberries, creamy vanilla, or even something unthinkable, like barbecue ribs or buttered popcorn. Some flavors are designed to be refreshing and sweet, while others aim to surprise or even shock vapors with their unusual profiles. The process begins with high-powered machines injecting certain amounts of flavoring into the vape liquid. These flavors are not just thrown together randomly, they are carefully crafted using edible ingredients, just like those used in sodas and candies. Scientists and flavor chemists work on creating the perfect taste balance to ensure that each puff delivers a consistent and enjoyable experience. Some flavors are simple, like classic mint or blueberry, while others involve complex layering to recreate a familiar sensation, like a warm cinnamon roll or a cold glass of cola. Some vape flavors take months, sometimes even years, to perfect. But that's not the real deal. What's truly fascinating about vape flavors is how diverse they are. While fruit and dessert flavors remain the most popular, there is a whole world of experimental options. Some manufacturers even take inspiration from some of your favorite perfume brands and gourmet foods to create truly unique blends. One of the most surprising aspects of this step is that vape flavors can be incredibly accurate. Have you ever wondered why some vapes taste exactly like your favorite candy or drink? It's all about chemistry. Flavor scientists break down the essential taste compounds of real foods and recreate them in liquid form. As for the result, it is always a vape that tricks your taste buds into thinking you are biting into a juicy peach or sipping on a rich caramel latte. Of course, not all flavors are universally loved. Some companies push the boundaries with what be called bizarre creations. What do you call flavors like crab, beef jerky, or pickle juice? While these flavors might not be flying off the shelves, they exist for those bold enough to try them. If you have only experienced the regular ones, don't beat yourself up. Those flavors are not exactly for everyone. Most times, they are for regular vapors who are getting bored with vapes. But what better ways to keep customers interested? Yes, you guessed correctly. That's where the new and strange flavors come in. Before we move to the next step, what is the strangest vape flavor you've ever heard of or tried? Let me know in the comments. Who knows? You might even inspire the next viral vape sensation. Step 4. The next thing is one of the most critical steps, and that is the quality control and testing. No one wants to take a puff and taste something that feels like melted plastic or dish soap. That's why every batch goes through strict testing to ensure purity, consistency, and safety. Once the vape liquid is mixed, lab technicians take samples from each batch to check for contaminants, proper ingredient ratios, and overall flavor accuracy. These tests happen in tech-powered labs, equipped with advanced tools like gas chromatography machines, which analyze the chemical composition of the liquid to make sure nothing harmful sneaks in. Most of the time, the main things to look for include nicotine accuracy to ensure the right nicotine levels are present as advertised. Also, they test each batch to be sure no harmful chemicals or contaminants like heavy metals or leftover solvents are present. That's not all, they check for flavor consistency to ensure each bottle tastes the same, so no one gets an extra strong or weak batch. After this, the next step is taste testing. Believe it or not, real people test vape flavors before they hit the market. These trained testers are responsible for making sure the flavors taste exactly how they should. Whether it's a simple blueberry blend or something as complex as a caramel macchiato, you might be wondering what will happen if any of the products is subpar. Well, here it goes. If a flavor is too weak, it goes back for more refinement. If a flavor is too strong, it gets adjusted to avoid overpowering the vapor. However, if it tastes nothing like what it's supposed to, it is scrapped and reformulated. Flavoring just happens to have a fancy name. It is not an easy task to undertake. The reason is that some vape flavors take months to perfect, as layering different notes, balancing sweetness, and ensuring smoothness takes time, especially for complex flavors like chocolate fudge brownie or cinnamon roll. In case you find yourself asking, why does testing packaging matter. There have been cases where low-quality vape juices from shady manufacturers contained contaminants or inaccurate nicotine levels that eventually led to bad experiences. That's why reputable vape companies invest in rigorous quality control to ensure you get only the best and safest product. Step 5. It's time to get it into the devices people use every day. This step is about precision and efficiency, because if anything goes wrong here, the result could be leaky cartridges, burnt coils, or a device that won't work right. The process begins with filling the cartridges or pods. High-speed machines inject precise amounts of vape liquid into each cartridge to avoid overfiling and also eliminate air bubbles. These machines work at incredible speeds to fill hundreds of cartridges per minute to keep up with demand. If too much liquid is added, the cartridge might leak. If too little is used, it could dry out too quickly. Air pockets are carefully avoided, as they can lead to uneven wicking and unpleasant dry hits. Once filled, each cartridge is securely sealed and labeled to ensure that no leaks occur before it reaches consumers. Once the cartridges are ready, the actual vape devices are assembled. Whether it's a disposable vape, a rechargeable pod system, or a high-powered pod, every device must be carefully put together with precise engineering. This includes installing the battery, which powers the device, and placing the coil, which is responsible for turning liquid into vapor. The airflow design is also crucial, as it determines how smooth or resistant the draw will be. While much of this process is handled by machines, human workers play a key role in checking for defects and making sure each device functions properly before it gets shipped out. Before packaging, every vape device goes through a final test to ensure it works as intended. Some factories use machines that simulate a puff to check that the device produces consistent vapor, to make sure it has no leaks or blockages and heats up at the right temperature. A single faulty device could ruin someone's vaping experience, so strict quality control is essential. It's fascinating to think that someone's job involves taking test puffs all day just to make sure everything works perfectly. Not a bad gig, right? Once the devices pass inspection, they are ready for the final step, which is packaging and shipping, before making their way to stores and vapors around the world. Step 6. The final step in making vapes is where function and style are forced to collaborate. After all the careful mixing, testing, and assembling, the product is almost ready for the shelves. But before it reaches customers, it needs a sleek, eye-catching design that makes it stand out in the market. Vape packaging is just as much about branding as it is about protection. If you are into vaping or move with people who do, you must have noticed how some vape brands look like high-end tech gadgets or limited edition sneaker drops. Yes, it is no accident. Companies invest heavily in design by using popping colors, minimalist aesthetics, or even futuristic themes to attract different types of vapors. Some are sleek and sophisticated as they appeal to professionals who want a stylish, discreet option. Others go for bold and playful designs that target younger adult audiences who love variety and fun flavors. Beyond aesthetics, the packaging also plays a crucial role in safety and information. Labels must include important details such as nicotine content, flavor description, ingredient list, and legal disclaimers. Some brands even add QR codes that allow customers to verify authenticity and check lab reports for quality assurance. While working out this step, it is also important to note that sustainability is another key focus in modern vape packaging. As the industry grows, so does the awareness of its environmental impact. Some brands have taken steps to reduce waste by using recyclable materials or offering return programs where customers can return used vape devices for proper disposal. While single-use disposable vapes remain popular, efforts are being made to develop more eco-friendly options. Once the packaging is complete, the final products are packed in bulk and shipped to distributors, vape shops, and online retailers worldwide. From factory floors to store shelves, each vape is made to go through an extensive process before reaching the hands of consumers. And just like that, the process is complete. Vape culture is more than just flavored clouds and high-tech devices. It is filled with surprises, quirks, and downright incredible facts. From flavors that sound like they belong on a dinner plate to vapes that cost more than a luxury car, let's look into some of the most unexpected aspects of the vaping world. If you think vaping is all about fruity blends and sweet desserts, think again. Over the years, manufacturers have experimented with flavors that push the limits of what anyone would expect to inhale. For example, only in your wild imagination will you think of lobster-flavored vape. But guess what? It exists. While some might enjoy a seafood feast, few people want to taste buttery shellfish in their vape clouds. Then there is wasabi. The Japanese-inspired flavor promises the same spicy kick you would get from the real thing, but instead of clearing your sinuses during sushi night, it does so through vapor. Cheese-flavored vapes also exist for those who somehow crave the taste of aged cheddar in their lungs. This is a lot right, but that's not all. Let's not forget bacon-flavored vape juice. While the idea of crispy, smoky goodness sounds tempting, the reality is that most bacon vapes taste more like burnt meat than a delicious breakfast. Still, people love novelty, and for every strange flavor that flops, there's always another daring soul willing to try it. While we are still talking about unbelievable things about vapes, we might just talk about the price. People think of vaping as a relatively affordable habit when compared to smoking cigarettes, but there's a luxury side to the industry that takes things to a whole different level. Would you believe that the most expensive vape ever sold, which by the way is a custom-made diamond-encrusted vape pen, cost a staggering $800,000? This is not just about any vape, it's a high-end accessory that is designed for the ultra-rich. Yes, some people splurge on condos, cars, watches, and other luxury items. So tell me if these vanities exist. What is stopping a vape lover or even collector from buying vapes that are covered in diamonds, made from high-quality gold and platinum, and feature a sleek, handcrafted design? Some luxury vape brands even offer pens with custom engravings, rare gemstones, or high-end materials like carbon fiber and titanium. Then naturally, you want to ask, do expensive vapes actually perform better? Well, not necessarily. Sometimes it is just the way a regular aircraft will seamlessly do what a private jet can do. While they may look incredible, most of these luxury vapes use the same basic technology as a regular $50 device. So a word of advice, unless you are looking to make a fashion statement, there's no need to break the bank. There are also what we call vape tricks and competitions. Over the years, vaping has evolved and risen above flavors and devices, and has graduated also to become a form of entertainment. This is where you see someone blow massive, perfectly shaped smoke rings. Guess what? There are actual competitions for that. Cloud chasing, as it's called, is a competitive sport where vapors perform tricks with dense vapor clouds. Some of the most skilled cloud chasers can create tornadoes, jellyfish shapes, and even dragon-like smoke breaths. These competitions have grown in popularity, with winners walking away with cash prizes, sponsorships, and bragging rights. Some professional vapors even get paid to show their tricks at events and on social media. Before now, you thought the only way to showcase your talent on big platforms like America's Got Talent was through singing, dancing, and even comedy. Well, times have changed. Not long ago, a guy was seen on America's Got Talent blowing smokes from vapes to create different shapes. He did it to the admiration of the judges and audience. Who would have thought that something that used to be considered dangerous would one day be used for competition? If you are looking to get into a competition, the key to mastering vape tricks is to get hold of a device with high vapor production. Not only that, but it must also have the right airflow settings and yes, a whole lot of practice. As wild as vape flavors have already gotten, the future might be even crazier. Scientists are working on ways to mimic the exact taste of certain foods by using advanced molecular flavoring techniques. Imagine vaping a flavor that perfectly recreates the experience of biting into a fresh strawberry or sipping on a vanilla milkshake with all the texture and depth of the real thing. I know, it's insane, but there is also a growing interest in functional vapes that go beyond just delivering nicotine or flavors. Some companies are experimenting with caffeine-infused vape juices to give users an energy boost, while others are looking into vitamin-enhanced vapor for a supposed health kick. Whether these ideas take off or remain gimmicks is yet to be seen, but one thing is certain, vape innovation isn't slowing down anytime soon. With so many flavors, tricks, and luxury designs out there, vaping is far more than just a smoking alternative. It's an entire culture with its own trends and surprises. In the same vein, chili chocolate vape also exists. Those who have tried it said it's a bold combination of sweet, rich cocoa and fiery chili peppers that are designed to surprise and challenge the taste buds. Imagine the smooth, creamy taste of chocolate melting on your tongue, only to be followed by a spicy kick that lingers just long enough to keep things interesting. In truth, it's a gutsy choice, but for those who love experimenting with flavors, it might just become a new favorite. The idea of mixing chocolate with spice isn't new. Gourmet chocolatiers have been doing it for years. It is inspired by traditional Mexican hot chocolate, which uses cinnamon and chili for an extra layer of warmth. But turning this concept into a vape flavor, that takes ingenious creativity. Scientists and flavor experts have spent months perfecting the balance because too much chili can overpower the chocolate, and if it is too little, it can lose its exciting contrast. So how does a flavor like this come to life? It all starts in the research and development lab, where chemists experiment with different blends of cocoa and chili extracts. They test different types of chili, some mild, some extremely hot, to find one that adds just the right amount of heat without overwhelming the senses. Once they land on the perfect mix, the flavor is infused into a base of vegetable glycerin and propylene glycol, which are just the essential liquids that create vape clouds and carry flavor. So there you have it. The next time you pick up a vape, take a moment to appreciate the science, creativity, and craftsmanship that went into making it. Now, what do you think? Does the packaging influence your choice when buying a vape, or is it all about the flavor? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to like, share, and subscribe to this channel.